Day, everyone. So, the discussion or the topic that I discussed to you is philosophical heritage, philosophies of education. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students are able to discuss the seven philosophies of education, construct a schematic diagram of the features of the different philosophies of education, and explain its implication in the field of teaching profession. So, introduction. We are here to a rich philosophical heritage passed to us are us. These thinkers reflected on the life in this planet. They occupy themselves searching for answer questions about human existence. These existential questions some come different version. What is life? Who I am? What is the universe real? And the like. So in the school context, this essential question are: why do I teach? What should I teach? How should I teach? What is the nature of the learner? How do we learn? And etc. These questions are philosophical questions. They are tackled in the subject philosophies of education. In this slide, we discuss the definition of the seven philosophies of education. This philosophy is constructivism. A theory says that learners construct knowledge rather than just passively takes in information. So, why teach? Constructivists seeks to develop intrinsically motivated and independent learners adequately equipped with learning skills from them to be able to construct knowledge and make meaning of them. What to teach? The learners are taught how to learn. They are taught learning processes and skills such as searching, critiquing, and evaluating information, relating these pieces of information, reflecting on the same, making meaning out of them, drawing insight, posing question, researching, and contracting new knowledge out of these bits of information learned. How to teach? In the constructivist classroom, the teacher provides students with data of experience that allow them to hypothesize, predict, manipulate, object, pose, question, research, investigate, imagine, and invent. The constructivist classroom is interactive. It promotes dialogical exchange of ideas among learners and between teacher and learners. The teacher's role is to facilitate this process. Knowledge is not things that can be simply disposed by the teachers into the empty minds of the learners. Rather, knowledge is constructed by learners through an active mental process of development. Learners are the builders and creators of meaning in knowledge. Their minds are not empty. Instead, their minds are full of ideas waiting to be midwife by the teacher with his or her skillful facilitating learners or facilitating skills. So the next philosophies is essentialism, a belief that things have a set of characteristics which make them what they are, and that the task of science and philosophy is their discovery and expression. This philosophy contends that teachers to teach for learners to acquire basic knowledge, skills, and values. Teacher teach not to radically reshape society, but rather to transmit the traditional moral, values, and intellectual knowledge that students need to become model citizens. Essentialist programs are academically rigorous. The emphasis is on academic content for students to learn the basic skills or the fundamentals: reading, writing, arithmetic, right conduct, as these are essential to the acquisition of higher or more complex skills needed in preparation for adult life. The essentialist curriculum includes the traditional disciplines such as math, natural science, history, foreign language, and literature. Essentialists frown upon vocational courses or other courses with watered-down academic content. The teachers and administrator decide what is most important for the student to learn and place little emphasis on the student interests, particularly when they divert time and attention from the academic curriculum. So essentially, these teachers emphasize mastery for subject matter. They are expected to be intellectual and moral models of their student. They are seen as fountain or of information and as paragon of virtue if ever there is such a person. To gain mastery for basic skills, teachers have to observe core requirements, longer school day, and longer academic year. With mastery of academic content as a primary focus, teachers rely heavily on the use of prescribed textbook, the drill method, and the other methods that will enable them to cover as much academic content as possible, like the lecture method. There is a heavy stress on memorization and discipline. The next philosophy is progressivism. This belief that the individuality, progress, and change are fundamental to one's education. Progressivist teachers teach to develop learners into becoming enlightened and intelligent citizens of democratic society. This group of citizens teaches learners so they may live life fully, now not to prepare them for adult life. The progressivists are identified with need-based and relevant curriculum. This curriculum that respond student need and relate to student personal lives and experiences. Progressivists accept the impermanence of life and the inevitability of change. For the progressivist, everything else changes. The subjects that are given emphasis in progressivist schools are the natural and social sciences. Teachers expose students to many new scientific, technological, and social development, reflecting the progressive motion that progress and change are fundamentals. In addition, students solve problems in the classroom similar to those they will encounter outside of the schoolhouse. So, teachers employ experiential method. They believe that one learns by doing. For other hand on minds on hearts on teaching methodological that progressivist teachers use are field trips during which students interact with nature of society. Teachers are also stimulate students through games and puzzles. So next philosophy is perennialism. This belief that the focus of education should be the ideas that have lasted over centuries. We are all rational animals. Schools should therefore develop the student rational and moral powers. According to Aristotle, if we neglect the student reasoning skills, we deprive them of the ability to use their higher faculties to control their fashion and appetites. The perennialist curriculum is a universal one of the view that all human beings possess the same essential nature. It is heavy on the humanities, on general education. It is not a specialized curriculum, but rather a general one. There is less emphasis on vocational and technical education. The perennialized classroom are centered around teacher. The teacher do not allow the student interests or experiences substantially dictate what they are teach. They apply whatever creative techniques and other tried and true method which are believed to miss or to be most conducive to disciplining the student mind. Students engage in Socratic dialogues or mutual inquiration to develop an understanding of history more timeless concept. This is existentialism. It involves or it advocates an education that helps individual living an essential life. The main concern the main concern of the existentialist is to help students understand and appreciate themselves as unique individuals who accept complete responsibility for their thought, feelings, and action. Since existence precedes essence, the essentialist teacher's role is to help students define their own essence by exposing them to various paths they take in life and by creating an environment in which they are freely choose their own preferred way. Since feeling is not divorced from a reason in decision making, the essentialists demand the education of the whole person, not just the mind. In essentialist curriculum, students are given a wide variety of options from which to choose. Students are afforded great latitude in their choice of subject matter. The humanities, however, are the given tremendous emphasis to provide students with vigorous experiences that will help unleash their own creativity and self-expression. So, next is behaviorism. It is the key of education because it impacts how students react and behave in the classroom and suggests that teachers can direct influence how their students behave. Behaviorist schools are concerned with the modification and shaping of student behavior by providing for a favorable environment since they believe that they are product of their environment. Behaviorists look at people and other animals as complex combination of matter and that act only in response internally or externally generated physical stimuli. Behaviorist teachers teach education to respond favorably to various stimuli in education. Behaviorist teachers ought to arrange environmental conditions so that students can make the response to stimuli. Last but not the least is linguistic philosophy. It helps the teachers convey the origin is linguistic philosophy. It helps the teachers convey the origin of word and language, their historical application, and their modern day relevance. To develop the communication skills of the learner because the ability to articulate, to voice out the meaning and values of things that one obtains from his or her experience of life and the world is the very essence of man. It is through his or her ability to express himself or herself clearly to get his or her ideas across, to make known to others the values that he or she has imbibed, the beauty that he or she has seen, the ugliness that he or she rejects, and the truth that he or she has discovered. Teacher teach to develop in the learner and the skills to send message clearly and receive message correctly. Learners should be taught to communicate clearly, how to send clear, concise messages, and how to receive and correctly understand messages sent. Communication takes place in three ways: verbal, nonverbal, and paraverbal. Verbal component refer to the content of our message, the choice and the arrangement of our word. This can be oral or written. Nonverbal component refers to the message we send through our body language, while paraverbal component refer to how we say, what we say, the tone, pacing, and volume of our voices. There is need to teach learners to use language that is correct, precise, grammatical, coherent, accurate so that they are able to communicate clearly and precisely their thoughts and feelings. There is need to help students expand their vocabularies to enhance their communication skills. There is need to teach the learners how to communicate clearly through nonverbal means and constantly through paraverbal means. There is need to caution and learners of the verbal and nonverbal barriers to communication. Teach them to speak as many languages as you can. The more languages one speaks, the better he or she can communicate and read the world. A multilingual has an edge over the monolingual or bilingual. The most effective way to teach language and communication is the experiential way. make them experience sending and receiving messages through verbal, nonverbal, and paraverbal manner. Teachers should make the classroom a place of the interplay of mind and heart. The teacher facilitates dialogue among learners and between him or her and his or her student, because in the exchange of words there is also exchange of ideas. So I am done to discuss the definition of every philosophies. So now let's move on the summary. We have a very rich philosophical heritage, but only 7 philosophies were discussed here are essentialism, progressivism, perennialism, existentialism, behaviorism, and linguistic philosophies and constructivism. The rest are assigned to you as a research work. So the 7 philosophies differ in the concept of the learners and values. And why do we teach? What should be taught? And how should be the curriculum be taught? However, there are exists also some similarities among the philosophies. Thank you.